I'm Masringer. In this series, I'm making the sulfuric acid at home in my laboratory with this contact process system that I'm designing at home for the home chemist to be able to recreate it and to produce sulfuric acid. And this is a method that is able to produce highly concentrated sulfuric acid or even oleum. In these videos, I'm usually going over the changes, basically hence the name weekly report. So what I've been doing in this week and changing up compared to the last week, and the progress I have made. You will be seeing basically the review of the current system, then the fix, some lessons that I have learned, some topics about life and all these things at the end. If you're interested, check it out. To start things off, this is the burning chamber. Didn't really do anything, but came up with an idea that I put in the sulfur and I don't put it into the crucible, to the nickel crucible. Then I use this little hot plate and the steel bar combo to heat the jar up, and it basically melts the sulfur inside. As it heats up and melts, it produces smoke, not in large quantities, but we'll go and test it out further if I can ignite it in there and keep it lit, or will it be just this way, but we'll note you on that later on. I have added another drying chamber, and this is not just for the sake of drying, but to actually capture the sulfur particles that are airborne and come out of the burning chamber. If there is some smoke, with the smoke there could be sulfur particles that basically evaporate. They can escape and get stuck on the catalyst material in the bedding. And because there was basically the desiccant, so the dryer chamber, removed from there previous week, I have tried to add in another one, so there is like 3 now. This has a minimum amount of calcium chloride in it to be able to even dry the remaining moisture that has went through the industrial dryer, the moisture capturer, and also to be able to have a large surface area to have the sulfur that is airborne. It can get stuck to the surface of the calcium chloride. So after that, I didn't really adjust anything, didn't really change anything. So if you didn't see the previous week's report, it's going to be in the description in the playlist. But that's the weekly report 6. Had some problems that the previous weeks or the previous version of this thermal probe pipe combo that I have glued together has, I don't know if I can find it here, but basically corroded, and I had to cut it down here at the end. As you can see inside, that this is like this whitish part here has have some corrosion or something like that, and it pulverized on the pipe. It started to leak, and I had to change the whole thing. So now I inserted again the thermal probe so I can measure the temp, but this time again it will be just temporary to test it out. I have changed the insulation again with some fresh rock wool. Use the pipe here to hold this one, basically this cut up pipe, and a piece of metal that I twist at the end, so to hold them together, and glue this. For some reason I think it was leaking, but whatever. So this is going to be connected to this, to the bubbler again. And a very important lesson that I have learned this week is that you have a pressurized system. And because I don't have any like backflow blockers or check valves or anything like that, I need to open up the absorber to be able to open this up, because if I don't open the absorber but this, the pressure reduces here, basically escapes. There is still pressure on that side, and the pressure is going to sneak up back in, and what it caused is to, through this lead, which is basically led into the bottom, the sulfuric acid just started to rise through the pipe and went up through here into the catalyst chamber, through the catalyst, and even into the burning chamber, which was kind of like a shame because it captured and washed some vanadium compounds out. but I believe it still is working. I have tested it out and it still worked. I made a test. It wasn't really working, so I had to try it again, but that time it started to leak. So a live test will be done next week on how well the system is working in terms of efficiency. I measured like 94%, but that's not yet confirmed with another test. In science, you call one measurement basically is no measurement, 2 is like half, and 3 is or 4 is like 1. So we will do like 3 or 4 in terms of again and again. So basically 3 more left, maybe at least like 2, to confirm that there is really a good absorption rate. But I believe there is, because when I was running the system, that in this chamber here there was a mist of white smoke, which indicates that there is like sulfuric acid, mist, and particles in there airborne. But through the second and the third absorbers there were none of this white mist. So the catalyst in the second and third catalyst beddings were making like very good progress, and they sulfur dioxide oxidized it to sulfur trioxide, and then that was able to hopefully absorb into the 3 solution. And yes, the densities that I have measured first indicated that there was density increase in the first and the second, and the third didn't really increase in density. So that was a 1.0. This went from 1.0 to 1002 grams per liter. This was increased from 110, so 1010 grams to 1012 grams. Slightly heat changed, but on this didn't really change that much. Next week, what I'm going to do is going to hook it back up. I have also had this probe that had the screw-on thingy here. I have grinded the end down, so it is like a full-on cylinder. I don't know, there is no focus. So this is like a full cylinder, and basically pull the screw thing off, so I can put the probe inside the coil. Basically, just can't really do it. So like into this depth between the 4 coils. So if you can imagine, between the coils I can slid this in and into this depth. That will be able to measure the temperature inside. I ordered a shield for the Arduino that will have an SD card into it, and will record the information. That data will be logged in terms of temperature that will be read from this, and I will record the temperature through this manually, like be able to more accurately compare the two, and basically make a system in terms of how the inside temp is compared to the inside temp of the tubes. But I believe it will be something similar, or even less drastic delay between them, like compared to the outside. Because what I used to do is have the rock wool and have a ring. This one was holding the rock wool on there and still is, but this screw here held the screw of the probe and measured the outside temp, but this made so much delay in the system that it was not really consistent. So I switched this up, so I will be using a inside temp. And also now this time there are 4 tubes, so I can insert the probe in between the tubes. So that is like a better solution in this sense. So this is another advantage of the 4 tubing system. The unfiltered section is here. So I've been thinking about things this week. I was kinda angry before, because let's say that way, I was making everything like click into place. It was working fine, and then as I was testing it live, I started to be a bit more agitated, in the sense that the coil was not in the right place, then the pipes were falling out, then the system was leaking, all these things were failing, and I thought to myself, well, what the fuck is the point? Like, I was kind of, as I said again, angry because nothing was working, as we usually put it. Back in the days, I would frame it like, nothing is working, then I will I failed, I quit. and go on to the next venture, whatever. Basically, lick my wounds in self-misery and self-pity. Problem now is solved in the sense that I have a new mentality that I have developed throughout the years, reading various books in terms of self-improvement. And I think what really changed is how I framed everything, because I usually say that if it isn't working the first time, it's not a problem, because like nothing is working in the first time, or basically almost nothing. Okay, there is like a few exceptions, but like basically nothing is working the first time. So for this reason, I usually frame it like, if it doesn't work, I just say to myself, then well, why would it work for the first time? So that doesn't really matter anyway. So it isn't about the situation, but it's more about the person that you are. Because what I didn't realize back in the day is that it's basically ingrained into us that our family and the people around us treat in a disrespectful way, and they say negative things about us, and they say limiting beliefs onto us. They put their shit onto us, their shit beliefs, their lifestyle, whatever. You don't even realize this, but when they criticize you or do anything bad, let's say in my example, I made a system and I told about this to my friend, who is not really my friend, but like you will hear about this later. I will talk about this in a separate video, but about this to somebody, and if they are like crabs in a bucket that pull you down, basically, they will say that, why do you do this? This is a waste of time, etc., etc. And basically, this shows that they are not your friends. I really read a good post about this, I think like 20 minutes ago, that the person or the people who are in your corner matter most than what your actual skills are in life. Because if they are all crabs in a bucket, if you don't know the analogy, if you have a bucket worth full of crabs, how you keep them in there is you don't put the lid on, because if you put the lid on, then they will escape. But if you uncover the lid and there is like visible sky, and you know the outside is visible from the bucket, the crabs are so, like, how do you say this, like, I wouldn't say jealous, but this is like animalistic, that they basically snip at each other's legs and they basically pull each other down, so none of them can escape. The others are pulling them down. This is in life. You basically surround yourself with low quality people that are negative and doubt you, and they don't lift you up, but they criticize you. They make these little snips at you, like the dogs that test you, that they snip at you, like, again, you do this, you are like this. These little comments that you don't even realize are there, but they are, I wouldn't say manipulating you, but they are brainwashing you to be in a certain way, and then acting in a certain way. You say that, yeah, this doesn't really affect me, in that sense that you don't consciously think about this, but subconsciously these things are ingrained into us. So basically the point is to surround yourself with good quality people that uplift you. Just look at around yourself and see the people that they are doing this or not. Be conscious about this. So thanks for watching. Subscribe and like all this bullshit. So